Welcome to Relationship Renegades on Fun for Life Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Rachele Brooke Smith.
And I'm Emilio Palafox.
And today we have some super special guests.
Yes, today we have Robby and Kimi Fender. Very special people here, transforming lives in a very big way, both physically, emotionally, and financially, which I think is just crucial right now. You know, as Relationship Renegades, we realize that, you know, one of the big causes for divorce is finances. And especially now where people are pivoting, wondering what they should be doing, finding their purpose. I think this would, you know, serves as a great conversation with two relationship renegades. And so a little bit about Robby's, husband. He's a father, CEO and founder of Yoli, along with his wife, Kimi Fender. A little bit about Robby is for the past 2 decades, Robby has owned and operated several real estate and private investment companies, and has been a part of the health and wellness industry for over 25 years. Robby has spoken to mass audiences and mentored people all over the world, helping them reverse the trends of poor health and poor habits, which is crucial. We talk about habits all the time on the show.
Yes.
He's helped people learn new ways to create cash flow and enjoy freedom. Robby practices what he preaches. He enjoys optimal health and vitality. And if you guys are watching the YouTube right now, you can certainly see both Robby and Kim just shining bright and vibrant, which just speaks, volumes. They both exude happiness and enthusiasm as they strive in this economic condition. And so we are just so excited to learn from you all and talk about, you know, the past, present, and future of your guys' lives.
Woo!
and of Yoli.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. It's great to be here with you guys.
Yeah, so great to have you. Well, really just kicking it off, you know, you guys are coming up on 30 years of marriage, created incredibly successful companies, helped so many people around the world, again, transform physically, emotionally, and financially. I would love to start out with, where did it start? You know, where did it start? Like, how did you guys really decide together? Like, hey, we want to make this big impact on the world. And how did you get through? What gave you that drive to get through all the challenges that obviously that comes with?
Loaded question. Big question.
Good question.
Well, I would say the first thing is thank you for that incredible introduction. We're both excited to be here. I think it's really important to point out to everybody and anyone listening or watching that Kimi and I have really failed our way to success. Really important. You know, people, I think, see where you are right here, right now, and so they just make an assumption. But the backstory is, oh man, we've lost millions. We've had plenty of businesses fail miserably. You know, even with our relationship, you know, that's again, I can say this. You know, every year with Kimi and I is better than the year before, right? Because we work on that. So I just wanted to make that really clear. Right? I mean, both of us, just the quick version, both of us, Kimi and I both come from a background of, you know, poor to middle class. I lived in 16 homes by the time I was 18. Amazing mom and dad, but they didn't have a financial education. So that gave me that drive and that want. And maybe tell them real quick, your background.
Just real quick, my background was I was raised by a single mother who was a waitress and raised 2 kids. So we lived very low, you know, low income, everything. So it was a struggle growing up. And then as teenagers, we both became parents.
Wow.
Not each other. No, I was married, divorced with a child. And when we met, he was married, divorced with a child.
And I was 20.
Wow.
So I did all of that before 20.
Yeah, same here. So we started out not on a great foot, but we learned together.
True.
Basically where we are now.
But I think that's important to point out to people because when we both, again, married, you know, had a baby, then divorced within a year.
Made us grow up.
Yeah, made us grow up really fast.
Yeah.
And so that, to answer your question, Rachel, that's kind of really, I think we were 20 going on mentally 30.
Yeah.
You know? So that drove us a lot. I think what really, if I fast forward to what created Yoli, which was, Yoli's been around now for 12 years. As you guys mentioned, our why at Yoli is we want to just transform as many lives as possible, physically, emotionally, and financially. And I'm happy to say in over a decade now, we've done that with countless lives across the board. And we've done
the
now.
Stories are amazing.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it, just to hear the stories, to watch the transformations and watch them, I don't know, become little butterflies. You start with this person where physically out of shape, emotionally drained, and just watching them come out of their shells has been the most rewarding.
Without a doubt. I tell people we get to live Christmas every day, right? Because that's what it is, right?
I love that you said that. We literally, we say that all the time. I'm like, and honestly, just waking up next to each other, I feel like it's literally Christmas every day, because that's just what I hoped and dreamed for so long.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, that you still work on it every day, right? Like you work on the relationship, the business, etc. And it reminds me of a quote. I forget who said it, but essentially it's, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. Mm-hmm. And
I'm into that.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that can't be said enough. And there's times where we can get maybe focused too much over here. We're like, hey, we got to balance ourselves out. How can we continue to nurture our relationship or whatever else that we're involved in? So I love that you're saying that, especially someone that's come from the failing forward and learning so much that I hope that just gets echoed through our audience. So I love that you also talked about the financial component, that you guys are transforming lives both physically, emotionally, and financially. We recently read a book. I remember hearing you guys on a show, and one of the things that you said was you believe that money is the most important thing in the world. And I'm saying this because if I heard that like 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh my gosh, but now because I have a different frame of mind and a different financial blueprint, if you will, that is so true. And I think if that triggers anybody on the show, I think it's worth reflecting on and talking about. And I'm kind of setting this up to talk about, because I think so many people, especially given the way they grew up, what they heard, they might be having financial struggles right now. And it's because of this quote unquote financial blueprint, how they grow up, what they kind of think subconsciously. And so I love that you guys are helping in the financial space and really truly believe that it's important. Because, if it's not important, if I'm saying it's not important, then I'm going to be getting more of that, right? Like, I feel like if it is important, then it's going to show up and I can help in a bigger way. we can scale our company, we can help the masses. So I just kind of wanted to throw all of those things out there and kind of really start to talk about the financial component, because it's so important. So really the question is simply, how does that land when I say all those things? What would you like to share with the audience on that financial component, and maybe speaking to some of the challenges that either you or maybe our audiences are currently facing?
Yeah, it's funny as you were mentioning that. I love what Zig Ziglar said, and he said, look, money is not the most important thing in this world, but it does rank up there with oxygen.
Yeah, that's so good. It's
right?
So good. Yeah.
Right? So I've always said, Kimi and we just want to have so much oxygen in our tanks, because I guess to keep the analogy going, if we all live underwater and you run out of oxygen, you're going to die. So it's like, again, do I think money in itself is dirty, doesn't do much, right? Like in itself, but when you view it like it's oxygen, it gives you, like Yoli would have never existed if Kimi and I did not have a strong financial mindset, right? Because it took millions of dollars to build that company and start that company. And we self-funded that company, a lot of skin in the game, right?
Wow.
And I'd love to say it was all just beautiful. The first 2 years was, it was hell. But we got there. We did it. We persevered, we pushed through. But yeah, Emilio, you're spot on. You can't have what you don't love, right? I mean, so if you sit there and say, oh, money is, it's evil and I hate it, well, then you're going to have to survive with no oxygen.
Yeah.
Right? right? And so that's all it is. And I believe money just makes you more who you are, right? I mean, absolutely, people will say, well, that guy's a jerk, and now that he has money, he's a bigger jerk. That's probably very true. But then I've also seen people who are extremely loving, extremely kind, extremely giving, and when they go off and make money, they amplify it 10x, and they take all that money and do beautiful things. It just amplifies who you are.
Yes.
So I think everybody should go for abundance. Everybody, I mean, wouldn't you guys agree? Life goes fast, man. We're like just this little blip. It goes A to Z before you know it. And I'll never forget the very last job I ever actually had. I was 18 years old, and I remember having to ask to go to the bathroom. And I'm thinking, this is like jail almost. I go, I simply want to be able to do, I mean, Kimi and I, our goal was we want to do what we want, when we want, with who we want, right? And so really just having a financial freedom, having enough money so that you can just do these things, and it's a beautiful thing, because I want to be able to hang out with the people we want to hang out with, go where we want to go, right? So that's all it is. That's all it is. And I remember because my mom and dad didn't have a financial education, it made me very hungry for it, because I would sit there and say, wait a minute, we keep moving every couple of years, but yet I would have a friend, and I'm 9 or 10 at the time, and I'm like, he lived in his home the whole time. So obviously there's a better way, Dad, and so that's what got us doing it. And then the next big step was when we understood the game, and I was very lucky because I was in the loan business for a long time, and I got to meet some really wealthy private individuals, and I just asked them, and they told me, Robby, the key is creating enough passive income. And I was like, what's passive income? And he goes, okay, when you're sleeping in bed, if money's coming into your account, that's passive income. I'm like, okay, I like that kind of income. He goes, when you have enough of that covering all the bills and all the overhead, you're free. That clicked. That absolutely clicked. And that's what kind of got me into consumable products, because I realized I think you both mentioned win-win. I'm all about win-win. I believe you can create sometimes win-win-win, but if I can get a product to a consumer, and one of the very first products I did in my 20s was some nutritional products from my mom and dad, and they had done in vitro, and they put this formula together, and it was incredible. I knew if I got my mom and dad on it, it's going to make a huge difference, and it did. It was amazing what it did for them. But I also knew that every time I sold that product, it would generate $5 to $10 in passive income. And immediately I was thinking, well, if I had 100 customers, that'd be an extra $500 a month. That's a lot better. That's a lot easier than having, say $50,000 or $100,000 put away at 6%. 'Cause I don't have $100,000. So for the listeners out there, if you're listening, that's our philosophy. That's our blueprint. And Emilio, you were spot on. I believe you have to have a healthy relationship with money and understand what it is, and actually love it and want abundance for people. And then you can do things. I mean, one thing I'm excited about, how many exotic trips have you done in Yoli now? It's in the 30s. But next week, we have 400 people next week going to the Dominican Republic in Punta Cana, and we're going to go hang out with them. And just, again, all these people are there. We have this thing called BLP, which is belong, love, and purpose at Yoli. So everyone belongs. We all love on each other. You're going to get a lot of hugs when you go to these events. Yeah. And we have this purpose of just wanting to transform lives with each other. And we're there to help these people, again, physical, emotional, and financial. So maybe, I know that was a lot, but I think but you're spot on. You're spot on. I think it's important to have a healthy relationship with money.
Well, and I think we keep saying this word transform. And I think people have heard it so many times, right? And there's so many different promises out there in marketing of this is going to transform your life, and, lose 90 pounds in 90 days. And, all these things that I feel like so many people have become jaded because a lot of those things don't actually work. And they spend maybe money, or they really hope and they trust, and then it doesn't work. Because maybe, I think one of the biggest reasons is that we're not, we can't have this mindset of just buying a pill and then expecting our lives to change. It really is this. That's why I love both the physical, the emotional, the financial, this really holistic approach to health and wellness, and, how important relationships and community are. And so I think that's what I love about what you guys have built and are doing, is that you're hitting all aspects of those things, giving people the support, the love, the education. I think the biggest thing is education about the supplements that and individualized and personalized nutrition and and wellness and, like all this kind of beautiful things that you guys are doing. And so I would love just to talk about so that people can understand, and also stay tuned for a really special offer, because if you're interested in really transforming your life in a very real way, we have a really incredible offer for you. But stay tuned for that. You have to stay tuned to the middle end of the show. When you guys say transform and the results you've been able to get, what has really been the big difference that actually has got those results for people?
What I think is, because it is physical and emotion, I think emotion is number one. It is physically, emotionally. I always change it to emotionally, physically, because there's a reason why there's a person who is overweight or not feeling good. It's emotion. It's something emotionally is making them want to eat. You hear, I'm an emotional eater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what we do is it comes back to the BLP. We let people who come into our company, you belong here.
Safe, yeah.
Yeah, you belong here. We don't care where you're from. Robby always says that he doesn't care whether you're from Yale or jail. It doesn't matter.
I love that.
That's cool.
And what I love about this company is a lot of these companies they wear suits and everything. We're in shorts and t-shirts. You know, it doesn't matter. A lot of people love. We just want to be loved. And when you come in, he said it, you're going to get hugged. Everybody's going to hug you. It's crazy. And it's nothing cultish or anything. It's just that we genuinely love people and just want to talk to them and everything. And purpose. You want to help people. And that's our whole thing. And it definitely comes down to the emotion part. And that seems to be, and with the self-development, the mindset, it gets people in the right frame of mind to just be so super successful with this company.
Yeah, and we've been able to prove it too for the last 12 years. That's what's exciting, right? You know, like you're spot on, Rachel. There's so many things that come in and out, and that's what's exciting. That we've been doing this for 12 years now, and you're right. And Kimmy's she's right on with. We're emotional creatures. Our buying decisions are based on our emotion. How we do things based on whether we exercise or not is based on emotion, and how we connect that emotion. So we kind of help people rewire, but she's right. It starts off by making people just comfortable and letting them know that there's no judgment here. We love you for exactly who you are. Yoli is what we call the Better Body Company. And people say, what's that mean? Well, what's a better body mean to you? Better relationships, right? Better health, better.
Do you feel? Right? We want you to feel better about you.
Correct.
You don't have to get those 6-pack abs.
Yeah, right. That's another thing that's so. Yeah,
It's putting people where they feel good about themselves, better about themselves.
Yeah. So the one thing I think that's made our 28-day Better Body System Transformation Kit special is we say right out of the gate that diets don't work. They don't work. Lifestyle works. It's not, do we have incredible, proprietary blends that will do some amazing things for the body? Absolutely, yes. But we also know what's even more important is doing something that you love and enjoy. Like when they find out they get to eat real food, like when I go, no, we want you to eat carbs. We want you to eat proteins. We want you to eat fats. You're like, you mean I get to eat? Yeah, you get to eat. They're always blown away. I go, now we teach them how to eat, when to eat it, you know what I mean? And when to take this stuff. Yeah, because we want to get their body, we want to turn their body into a metabolic fat burning furnace, right? And we can. So once we teach it to them, and I can't tell you how many people through the years, it's not about losing that 10 pounds or that 20 pounds. In some cases, I got people 50 and 100 pounds, but let's keep it off for the rest of your life, right? So we've got to change it, right? For example, we also believe, like, if you love drinking milk, well, then let's find out something that, like maybe an almond milk, non-sweetened almond milk, that we can substitute it, because the body still needs to have something. There's a reason why we put a cheat day in there. You gotta let people cheat. You gotta let them be a human, right?
Yeah.
How about you go over to good friends and they just spent, 5 hours working on this special cheesecake. You got to be able to eat it with them and celebrate. I mean, my vice. Well, Kimmy and I love wine. Yeah, see that?
Yeah, same.
I mean, we love wine, and so I'm going to drink my wine, right? Yeah. So it really is, Kimmy's so spot on. There's an emotional piece to it, and then we tie them into the community as much as we can, because I think all of us know that we become who we hang around, right? And so if I hang around people that are going to give me love and make me feel belong, and they're going to work with me and teach me, hey, here's how we do some of our meal prep, and I just hang out in that world, then guess what? Everything in my life gets better, because and we could go deep here, but the unconscious mind doesn't know right or wrong. The unconscious mind just knows whatever it sees. People, when people talk about raising your children, I'm like, most important thing in raising your children is not what you tell your children. It's what you do.
Yes.
Because they're watching everything you do. Yeah. I think I'll disclose this. Both my boys have bad mouths. And I know why. It's my fault. I mean, it is 100%. I am when in Rome. Like I know when to turn it on and off. But when I've had a few glasses of wine,
totally.
Language comes out of my mouth.
Tequila over here comes out. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
So did that kind of help a little bit?
No, yeah, it really does, and I'm so in agreement with that. I think one of the biggest things is when we heal the things that are wounded or hurt or traumatized inside of us, all of a sudden we do feel so much more connected. We don't feel these crazy cravings. We don't want to eat to feel safe because we just already feel safe inside of ourselves. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned is like, what kind of space am I creating for my soul to live in? And my past, I was creating a really anxious, unsafe, insecure space. Granted, then I had all these unhealthy things trying to fill that void, and you can't until you actually just heal it. And so I really love that you guys really focus on the emotional aspect of that. Then also add in the physical and the education. I think the education is so important because I think so much there's so much miseducation in the health and wellness world. People don't know what's what, and they think they're eating healthy by because it's marketed healthy, but it's not actually always true. And so I really love that you guys are teaching people financial health, wellness health, like food, nutrition health. I think it's just all so important. So just celebrate you for that.
And I wanted to just kind of say kudos to a lot of things that you guys were both talking on that's very resonant and aligned with the ethos of Relationship Renegades. And it's a few things. One, I see you both as we're getting to know you guys. This word that's been coming up in my men's group, actually, this like heartrepreneurs. Like you guys really, really leading with the heart. Like you can tell by your energy, and I'm sure people listening onto the radio right now, or when it comes in our social media, that whether you're hearing or seeing you all, you guys, not only are practicing what you preach, but you guys can tell. You can tell that you care. You guys are leading with the heart. I haven't said this statistic in a long time, and I don't know if you've heard this, but one of the certifications I have a long time ago is of this Heart Math Institute. And they're doing some great things there. And one of the things they said is, a lot of people don't realize that we have about 40,000 neurodendrites in our heart brain, which is basically like 40,000 brain cells in our heart brain that can literally think, feel, and remember independently of the head brain. And the only reason I bring this up is because in addition to that, the heart brain sends about 90% more information to the head brain than the head brain does to the heart brain. And it's like it starts at the heart. And I love that Kim started it off with leading with the emotional side of things, because that's such a big thing with people. One of the themes of Relationship Renegades is to ensure that me and Rachel, as well as our community, that we're always creating a space where Rachel and I feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. And I think from that foundation, there's a lot of growth that can come from that. And I love that your company and you guys practicing what you preach are not just saying it, but are like embodying that. Yeah. I think the relationships that the people that we want to hang around with and continue to, personally or professionally, are of that, right? Because I think it's so important. I hope everyone listening, like, as you're pivoting personally, professionally, or what have you, and you're looking to increase your physical, mental, emotional, financial, like, I just hope that a lot of these things are really sinking in for a lot of people, because it's so important, so key. So I just wanted to thank you guys for showing up that way.
I would love to know what, obviously, you guys said you went through crazy challenges. You guys both met and you had already been married and were single parents at such a young age. I can't even fathom, we don't have that. We, obviously went through a lot of unhealthy relationships, which why we're so passionate about creating healthy relationships and teaching people how to do it.
Yeah.
But, not only to go through that, but then to also create like multi-million-dollar businesses together, as well as like lose millions of dollars and have to regain it again and like invest your own money to build your company, like all that kind of stuff. What are some of the mindsets and maybe the daily practices that have helped you guys create such a great relationship together, but also create so much wealth and impact together?
And been resilient through it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a spectacular question. And I would say, and Kimmy and I both do this, it has everything to do with our daily routines and our morning rituals, without a doubt, right? Because this brain, and there's, sections of it, and you guys people call it different, but you got your monkey brain, your robot brain, your sage brain, right? And if you don't take control of it, it will take control of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so our rituals are very important to us, right? I mean, both of us. And part of that ritual is our self-development. And we're always in some form of self-development program. We're doing another a one-year program for a second time right now called The Hero's Journey. But, Kimmy and I have been with the Date with Destiny. I mean, I can go on and on. And we brought in a lot of these people like the Les Browns, the Brian Tracys, the Jim Rohns of the world. So to answer that question, Rachel, I think it's making sure that we stay in charge of what we think about, and we guard our minds. Like Kimmy and I, I'll speak for myself right here. I don't watch news. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to anything. Like none of it. I don't, because it clutters my brain. It clutters my mind. It clutters my brain. And so I've learned that the more I grow, the more everything around me grows. And you were touching on it, and you're talking about your soul. I'm a big believer in mind, body, soul. I've got to every day exercise the mind, exercise the body, and exercise the soul. And so it's really important to do that. Now, am I human? Do I still get derailed? Do I still lose it once in a while? Yeah, in fact, I'll tell a funny story. We were packing up to leave, and I'm all packed, everything's in there, and then Kimmy hands me this huge box, and I'm thinking to myself, where am I going to put this freaking box?
This was just last week.
My oldest son is standing there watching. Kimmy's standing there watching, and I kind of just I lose my shit. And then my son. Now, granted, I'm very. It's easy for me to lose it on a box, right? Because I don't like to. I would never want to do that to a human being. And my son says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my dad, Robby Fender, 30 plus years of self-development, and today, right now, loses his shit on a box." And, so, and he knew this would happen. He knew this would happen. It brought me back to reality, and I looked at him and I just giggled and laughed and I said, "Oh, dude, you're so right." So self-awareness, man, is so important. So anything you want to add to that?
Oh, that's incredible.
And then that, the self-development and everything, but we also, to connect, we have this thing that we call think tank time. So wherever we are, we make sure that there's like a jacuzzi or something. We get in that jacuzzi and we just, every morning, sit in there for like an hour and we talk about the day. We talk about whatever is to come up, whatever is on our minds or anything. We actually got this from our youngest. He's almost 25 now.
Yeah,
but
he was the planned one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, he's our third. We had him together.
Yeah.
So awesome. He learned this at a young age that if he, little kids, they take showers with their parents. So he learned at a very young age to get daddy's attention. Yeah. He wanted to take showers with dad. And it's like, what are they doing in there? They sit and talk. Just talk about the day, talk about anything. And he learned that because dad can't get on his phone.
Oh, wow.
And so, or walk away or whatever. Wow. So we do that. No phones. Yeah. We just sit there and talk and get connected every single day.
Yeah, we reconnect with each other.
It's part of our morning ritual.
Yeah, because we, life's busy and we get going. And Kimi runs, there's parts of the company that Kimi run, which is the Women of Yoli, and she's busy, I'm busy. So yeah, it gives us that hour to connect. Yeah, and dream together, plan together. I mean, like yourselves, I mean, we pretty much plan out the whole year.
Yeah.
Like it's scheduled. I mean, we leave a lot of space for whatever to happen, but the whole entire year gets planned out, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that. So many things to say. Well, what you just finished saying right now with the year, I fell in love with this company called Build Your Life Resume, and they have like this year-long calendar by I think Jesse Itzler. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've heard about it.
It's like it looks like a notebook. It looks like a note, and we're not tied to this or anything, but it's like a notebook size, and you open it up, and it turns into this incredible calendar. So I can put it in my backpack, open it up, and like every row is a month, and you can just kind of see your year. But they're more about building your life resume. Oftentimes we're always building our business resume, but like when do we want to plan like our life resume, all the things we want to do? And so anyway, I love that you guys do that. And, I love that you said too, I mean, the routines that you talked about are so important, but I also love that you started off with guarding your mind, because I think in the day and age we live in right now, that is so important, in so many ways, not only with the news, just with everything. Like, I think a lot of people, we're these sovereign, powerful, beautiful beings, this soul, which is unlimited and vast. And I think a lot of times the masses have forgotten that, or fallen asleep to that. Yeah, and I just feel like a lot of the masses have forgotten who they are, how powerful and vast and unlimited they are. And we just hope that, that they can look within and wake up to that, and to guard their mind, to make sure that, they're headstrong and heartstrong on their soul's mission. Yeah. To be really present to their purpose and what they want to do in their life, and what they want to give with their gifts, talents, and strengths. And hopefully, it is something physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual and financial that they can help a lot of people. I think when you awaken, you kind of really start to want to live a life of service and really help people and figure out, okay, well, what's the vehicle to do that? Yes. And I love that you guys have chosen Yoli. And by the way, I love the word Yoli. I'd love to know what Yoli means. And then also, what's the evolution and future of Yoli look like?
Yes.
No, that's a great question. Yoli is an Aztec word, and it means to live. It means life, right?
Wow.
So that's and we perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, and again, we love how easy it is to say, how easy it is to remember. It's Yoli, right? Yeah. And quick little funny story. We wanted to get the .com. This was 12 years ago, and Yoli in Korean means to cook.
Oh wow! Yes.
And so so I had a gentleman negotiate. Took a month to get that. So that's why we now own a 4-letter domain, Yoli.com.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool story. Real quick, let's talk about the future of Yoli. You guys touched on something. We've been touching on something. I think Kimi and I realized as we got older that we're all in the human being business. Really, that's what it is. We're humans with other humans. And I think what makes Kimi and I who we are, and Kimi's hardwired this way, which is she's just so authentic, she's so real, is we genuinely learned and found out that, and I always like to say it's impossible to outgive God, meaning I guess the best analogy is people always ask, during Christmas, who really wins? Is it the child getting the present, or is it the parent who bought the present?
Wow.
Kimi and I would argue the parent gets more joy, gets more excitement, gets more fulfillment, because the parent literally knows what that child wants, goes out there and purchases it. So they know what they got him. And then they torture the child. They wrap it up. And then they put it on the right? And every day, the parent's like, oh, this is awesome. Because Kimi and I, we learned real quick that the anticipation of is more powerful than the actual gift itself. So what we got to do at Yoli in the future, Yoli, and the reason it drives us is we love having Christmas every day. And to be able, Kimi nailed it when she was talking about taking a person who's had, look, we've all been beat up. We've been, like the truth is when people really start sharing, you realize, wow, we've all went through a lot of shit. Everybody on different levels, whether it's physical abuse or mental abuse or trauma or just not having money. I mean, a lot of different things happen. So it's fun when you can bring people in to an environment to let them know, hey, it's safe here. You know what? And to connect with them. I think empathy is extremely, is extremely important. And so where I'm getting at is, we one day said, you know what? And I remember I was driving in the car and I looked at Kimi and we're driving up to our Yoli corporate facility here in Utah. And I was like, we need Yoli just as much as the world needs Yoli, right? Mm-hmm. And we're kind of like, our purpose. Yeah, and we're the parents that we have all these Christmas gifts to give to all these people, right? And so we want to do it. And that's when we realized, okay, we've had a lot of success in Yoli over the last 12 years, but sometimes success can make you complacent. And you don't want to do that. And so a few years ago, we woke up and I said, you know what, babe, there's so many more people we want to reach out to. And that's when we realized we've got to, I don't believe you force technology to meet you. You have to meet the technology. And what I'm getting at is 10 years ago, influencers, what that word even meant, most people didn't really even exist. And we live in a world now, it's pretty freaking awesome. You don't have to ask permission to be famous. You don't have to ask for permission to share and to get the word out and stuff. And I said, Yoli needs to meet the world where it is right now, and we need to go find like-minded people. That's why I'll never forget, when I was chatting with you, Emilio, for one of the very first times, and and the conversation was, hey, let's see if we're aligned. Let's see if and that's where Kimi and I've always said is Yoli for everyone. No, I want to find people. If you hear the words transform my life, emotionally and physically and financially, and you get excited, well then that's a connection for you. If it's not, then it's not. There's no right, no wrong there. Right. So it's looking to find people that we're aligned with and then meet them where they're at. And that's where I was like, so that's what we're doing. We just made a decision. We're going to get the word out there with multiple different influencers. And that's why we've also, with our company, made sure that we put a very simplistic compensation affiliate program in play. So it's simple. I mean, here's the deal. We want influencers to do what they do. And what we bring to the table is 12 years worth of, we've created the proprietary blends, we've created the products, we've created the systems, we've created the manufacturing, we've created the, the back end accounting, we've created we have the shipping facility, we do the software, the hardware, all of it. We take care of all that part. We say, hey, look, share Yoli with people that you love and care about, your followers. If they love this, great. We'll take care of the rest. We'll absolutely compensate you for that. And then let's together educate them and love them and turn this into a lifestyle. And then you'll continue to have passive income along with a whole bunch of people that are going to be thanking you for the rest of your life. I mean, people to this day, when we get on the phone, we see them in person, they're crying. It's really, and it's amazing for Kimi and I. Sometimes we meet them and we see them look where they look now and they look amazing. And then they show us a before picture and we're like, what? I mean, you don't even recognize them. It's incredible.
Oh,
wow.
Really
right?
nice. Watching the transformations and watching just not the physical part, but the mental part. You can see just they're different. And do you want me to?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I'd love for you to share. I'd love for you to share the story of that one gal, what she said to you at an event.
Oh, I can't. I'll cry.
No, I know, but
we love tears. We love crying.
This is incredible. I mean, this is why we do what we do, but this is a good story.
So I've only been one of the founders the last couple of years.
Well, in the forefront, on stage.
In the front, right. Yeah. I've always been with them, but standing up and being here and talking to people. So in 2019, I got up on stage for the very first time and I was talking and just kind of showed everybody, I was really vulnerable and told them my story on how I lost my purpose after my last child left high school. And I had nothing to do. I would get up and I'd just scroll the computer all day long because he was working, doing his thing, and I kind of lost my purpose. And what I realized is Yoli is over 75% women, and they were having 4 men run it. So they didn't really have the female aspect of it. So they asked me to stand up, and it's like, I I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do that. So I'm still learning how to be in my position. But one of the things that we've come up with the last couple of years is a Facebook page, and it's called the Women of Yoli, which is really becoming super, super dear to me. Is not really the business aspect, but more the emotional aspect. So what we do is we highlight a different woman within the company every month. And it's been really fun for everybody to get to know each other. And we talk about anything. We empower, we encourage and support. And it's been really fun because we get to hear their backstory. Like for me, it's like I was raised by a teenage mom, my mom was a teenager, when she had me, single parent, struggling financially, how it was really tough on me. And then I became a teenage parent, and then so on. And how I started does not reflect of where I am now. I've grown. And so a lot of women can identify with that. And so it's like, oh my gosh, Kimi, I can identify with that. Thank you so much for your story. But when I back to when I was on stage in 2019, I was talking about all this. And when I was done, I go back to the back, and you get little texts, you did good. And it's like, oh my gosh, I needed that. Yeah. I had one woman come up to me. It's like, Kimi, I needed that story. And I'm thinking, it's just a cheesy story. And she goes, no, I needed that story because I have had struggles growing up. I have had this. I am actually to the point where I'm ready to commit suicide. And listening to your story just made me know that I just have to give it my all and think about me and learning how to change me and not put that behind me. To put everything that's ever happened to me behind me.
That's right.
And where it started was we had gone to a date with Destiny with Tony Robbins. Yeah. And there's this one thing where I can't remember what it's called, but there's exercise he has. He goes, close your eyes and think back to your earliest age. So you go back and then think back earlier and earlier and earlier. I went back to the age of 7, and I had some really traumatic things happen in my life at 7 years old. And and then you're supposed to tell that person that was in that story, thank you. What? Why am I supposed to tell him thank you for putting me through that crap? And he goes, no, thank you for putting you through that because it made you a tougher, stronger person you are today. Yeah. And that was my message for the day. It doesn't matter what happened to you. You can grow from it. Yeah. You can learn from it, and you can be better and stronger and better than you have ever been. And to this day, she has started her own company. Yeah. She's traveled. She supported. She has blossomed so much just from that story. And that's what the Women of Yoli do. And that's my part of it is just for us to connect.
Well, Kimi and I have said this, and I'm a big believer. Life doesn't happen to us. It happens for us. And once people figure that out, they realize, okay, I don't know if you guys have heard that Chinese parable, right? Which of maybe, and I'll just give a short version, but there's a Chinese farmer, and he's a poor farmer, rice fields with his son and one horse. The horse runs away. The villagers are like, oh my gosh, that's so bad. He runs away. He responds with, maybe. A week goes by, and the horse shows up and brings with him 6 other wild horses. The community goes back and says, oh my gosh, you're the luckiest person in the world. You now have like 7 horses. And he says, maybe. The son then jumps on the horse, these untamed horses, trying to tame them, gets bucked off, breaks his leg. Oh, it's the worst thing that could ever happen. Maybe. And then all of a sudden the Chinese government goes into war. They show up, the child's 18 for the draft, and they say, sorry, you can't accept you. You broke your leg. And they go, oh, that's great news. And he says, maybe. Yeah. So that's what Kimmy and I have learned. It's all, and that's why I said, I go, babe, I think one of the biggest reasons my wife is such a badass is because how she went through it, but then how we get to choose how it defines us. We get to choose how we're going to respond, right? We can't always control what's happening to us. Life's going to happen. Yeah. And sometimes they're beyond our understanding, but we get to choose how we're going to respond. And boy, once we realize that, and Kimmy and I have just said, man, there's good in all of this. People say 9/11, it was terrible. And yes, it was. But I'll tell you one thing I remember the United States being more united than I'd ever seen ever. There was no any form of politics. It was just, you're American, I'm American, I love you, I'm here to support you, because we didn't know what was going to happen. It scared us. So again, there's always I'm sorry, we digressed a little bit.
These are the super important things of, like, you know, that's why we wanted to have you on the show, because it is, first and foremost, obviously, you know, you guys built a great company with great products that really help people, but I think behind the biggest thing that really helps people is that love, is that support, is being able to create a space where people feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. And I think, you know, I think that's where a lot of companies miss the boat, because they're so focused on, like, you know, just like sales or revenue or, you know, different things. And they forget that, like, no, these are human beings that are struggling. We're all struggling. Everybody's always going through something. And the more we just love and support people and create community, you know, we just all need community and relationships more than ever. And so I really do want to go back to what you had talked about with, you know, I think in previous conversations, something that I love that actually I heard from him that you had said was that you really just want everybody to win. You know, that the whole company is built on this basis of, like, we want to create a system and a model for everyone to win, not just the high ups at the company, but every single person involved, as well as influencers that that are a really aligned fit. And obviously, like myself we're influencers and in TV and film all the time, and we love talking about products that really we love, use, and believe in, and actually have created a change in our life. Because when something actually helps you really do just want to share it. You're like, oh my gosh, you have to try this, you know? Even like humans are wired that way. If you have an amazing dessert, you're like, you have to try this dessert, or the amazing movie, you have to see this movie, you know? So true. And so, you know, but I think there's so many, you know, like we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, you know, money can amplify wherever you are. And I think in a lot of companies and a lot of situations, money makes people do really weird, strange things, or take advantage of people, or not treat people like beautiful humans that they are. And, you know, I think in the influencer affiliate marketplace, you know, when the whole social media thing blew up, everyone was just trying to, like, figure it out. And I think there's a lot of, you know, just not cool things that go on. And I know as an influencer, and everybody wants you to be an affiliate of their company, and you know what I mean? Just all these different things. And so I'd love you to talk about your passion and vision to create something that is actually really something where everybody who is a part of it, who wants to be an affiliate of the company, wants to share about it, can actually create actual passive income and really win, and how you actually want them. And your focus is on allowing them and helping them win.
And
that's right.
And right before you just kind of go into that, Robby, I just wanted to kind of really quick, I think it's important in this day and age, at least for us, you know, it's this quote of, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think it's you know, it's amazing to, like, it goes back to, like, who you surround yourself with, and what's aligned and what's integrated in whatever mission you have. And so whether it's products, lifestyle, supplements, food, people, you know, what systems, I think it's important to us to always align with the right people and the right products and just everything that, like, that resonates. And so I think that's one of the reasons why we're having you guys on the show, because we felt so strongly about that resonance and just kind of continue to learn about each other. But I felt like that was important just to add about, you know, people listening, like, think about whether it's Yoli or anybody else we've had on the show, like, what resonates for you and how would you like to attach or align with the thing so that you can go far in your life, together. You know? And so anyway, I just thought I'd maybe add that a little bit.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I'm a big Jim Collins fan. And so whether it's Good to Great by choice, you know, one thing he taught, and when you look at some of the greatest companies, is that they're willing to shoot a lot of bullets before they shoot a cannonball. And what that simply just means is they're going to test. They're going to do a little test, see how it works. They're going to do another little test, and they're going to adjust. So I want to make it really clear. I believe that we have a lot to offer, that we offer to an influencer, even the micros and the macros, the smaller influencers that are just getting started. So again, one thing, again, back to Jim Collins, is really simply we want to learn. And not only are we looking to align with like-minded influencers who can, that we align with, that say, look, we love growing. We love self-development. We love helping people get a, better body, better mind, better soul. This is a good fit. We want to learn. So my point is this: I said earlier, I'm not looking to force influencers to do what we want. I'm looking to lock arms with influencers and create very simplistic, affiliate programs that can be explained in a sentence, right? And help them not only go out and get those customers, but we've invested millions of dollars in technology and software, in hardware, and we've got third-party partners who are professionals online. And what I'm excited about as we move forward, and I remember sharing this with you, Emilio, and with you too, Rachel, and that is, we want your input. We want, we want to build we're looking to build this incredible affiliate program, but I believe we're going to do it by locking arms together and by listening and letting the communication go both ways. Right. And that's exciting, and that's a lot of fun. And that's what, and at the end of the day, why are we doing it? So that together we can go out and transform more lives. I mean, that's the coolest part about the whole thing. Everybody wins. Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, it's so cool that as a founder and CEO, and for both of you guys leading this company very powerfully and very kind of, again, that entrepreneur space, like that you guys are really open to learning. It's almost like, we're constantly growing and evolving. And it's like, if I feel like, we have cups right here, right? It's this whole thing of like, you've learned so much. I can't imagine in all the wisdom that you guys have personally, professionally, financially, et cetera. But it's like, I love that you guys are always open to learning, both in your relationship, everything, right? It's like that whole like beginner's mind, right? If my cup is full, how can I receive anything?
That's right.
Unless we empty it out.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys are open to hearing from influencers to say, hey, look, there's so many models out there. What's going to work best? What do you guys want? What works for you? What doesn't work? So that you can find something that is that win-win-win.
Yeah.
That's right.
For everybody. So I think that's what was really cool and attractive when I started to learn about you guys. And we always go with referral partnerships or referral relationships. So it was great to have our really good buddy, Brian, introduce us. And I love that you guys have that mindset of, okay, well, we're evolving. What do influencers want? What works, and how can we continue to impact and transform our lives? And, as we're coming at the end of the show, speaking of transformation, I know that you guys have lots of incredible health and wellness products out there in the community and the belongingness that's important. I know one of them is the transformation kit, which that is really this, the gift of life, I believe is what you guys are calling it, right? And for our listeners, what they're doing for 12 years, they've had this transform my life kit, this gift of life, I think is what it's calling it now. It used to be close to $350, right? About a $300 package. What Yoli and Kim and Robby are offering you guys, our audience, is really just half price. For a limited time, they're going to give us this gift of life for $150.
Yeah.
And
which means that's $150 off.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Until July 1st. Yes. When you're listening to this, until July 1st, if you go to yoli.com/RR, you literally, the thing will be right there in front of you. So you can get $150 off, what is usually a $300 package. And I would love for you guys to talk about this gift of life kit and what's in there and why should people be excited about it and why it's such a huge value and why it's even called the gift of life.
Great name.
Well, it's exactly what it is, right? I mean, we want people to have a better body and whatever that means for you. Some people it is to lose some weight. Some people it is to they just want to tone up their body. Some people are just like, man, I just want to feel better. Okay. Yeah. Like I want to feel better. Right. So whatever that means to you, we want to give that person that gift of life. And I'm just going to reiterate, you're right, Emilio. For over 12 years, we have never offered it at that price. You can even go online and do your homework and check. We've just recently made a decision that, okay, we're going to put, our money where our mouth is. We're going to give you an irresistible offer. And Rachel, you're right. It will expire on July 1st because we are selling it at half the price. Now, it is an entire 28-day. It's actually the number one selling product at Yoli, which is this kit. In there are going to be our top selling products. The first product, and I'll go really quick, is Alkali. We have a patented manufacturing process on Alkali. Best way to describe it, it's like eating 10 pounds of raw organic broccoli in a 50-cent capsule. I mean, it's just so much easier to take the capsule to alkalize. And I'm not talking about blood pH. I'm talking about interstitial fluid pH. And when the body's acidic, it will hold on to fat. All kinds of things will happen when the body's acidic. So our Alkali is our flagship. It makes a huge, I've had people just take that alone and said, why am I losing weight? It's your body. It's right. And when you get your body back to a balance, your body can absorb. It starts working, quite frankly. So that's Alkali. The other product is our Yoli Yes Shake. And that stands for the Yoli Essential Shake. That's what the Yes Shake is. We have multiple proprietary blends like Lean Immune that gives you all your fruits and your vegetable daily portions that you need. But here's what's crazy. Our whey protein that we use, it's called Pure Whey, and we had to go to New Zealand and Australia to find it. It comes from grass-fed cows that haven't been given any antibiotics. I don't want to put antibiotics in my body, so there's no way. We couldn't find a whey in the United States that we would put in our product. So that's why we shipped it. Our whey, and then on top of that, what's it taste like?
It tastes like a shake.
It's incredible.
It tastes amazing. It doesn't taste like all those other protein shakes out there. It's got a really great flavor.
I can attest to that, actually. I was really impressed.
I feel like I'm cheating every day. I go, what do you mean? He goes, these taste like chocolate shakes, like real chocolate ice cream shakes.
No,
we
they
did
really
that
do.
with the vanilla as well. So that will be you'll be taking those shakes, and then we have Pure, which again, one of the biggest things we learned with women is they need to be more regular, and Pure is loaded with pre and probiotics, and we know the importance of gut health, and you got to take care of that. You guys were talking about the heart brain and and on our brain, you also got the stomach brain, and and a lot of people don't realize your serotonin, it starts there, and people will take our shakes and they're like, why am I happier? Because when you get the right ingredients, that's why the nickname for our Yes Shake is also the Happy Shake.
I love it.
Nice.
So Pure is extremely important, and I can just say this about Pure. I'm going to let Kimmy get there. Well, no, just the endorsement. Like, if this is a product we are not allowed to leave home without. Like, my wife has made me almost miss getting on flights because she made me go back home and get her Pure, right?
I can't go anywhere without it. Especially traveling is really difficult because of the foods and everything.
Totally.
And Pure just keeps, for a female, everything working. And it's my ultimate favorite. That, Alkali, and the Yes. And then those three are my ultimate favorite. And my favorite we haven't talked about is called Passion. Passion is, I wanted a healthy energy that didn't have a crash, that got my cell receptors moving and thinking. It's the first product that I take in the morning. People would argue that, Robby, you probably don't need it, right? Like, because I'm high energy. And so, but Passion is, and again, all of our products are no sugar. We use stevia, right? So they're very low calorie. I think sugar is, we could spend hours on how bad it is. But so we do not use any sugars. We use stevia. They're all natural, again, non-GMO ingredients that we use.
Amazing.
But Passion is, and we got multiple flavors. It's the metabolic, it's to get your metabolism drinking. But what I love about it, there is caffeine in it from green tea. And then we load it with vitamin Bs, because your vitamin Bs is really what gets those cell receptors talking. People will take our Passion and they're like, oh my gosh, the mental clarity when I'm on this. And I tell people, take it on an empty stomach. You don't want to put food in your belly. Just take it. It will get you going. It'll get the energy. I like to take it a little warm in the morning. And we have literally peach, mango, berry, grape, strawberry, kiwi, raspberry. I go on and on. It's a super popular product. And then the last one is Resolve. Resolve is they're very important fibers, and I can go on, but what it does is it makes you feel full. So if you're feeling like, I want to eat, you know what I mean? You just take a couple of your Resolve. You're like, I'm full. This is good. So again, and here's the most important thing. don't worry so much about all the individual products. Don't even worry about the burden. We took a ridiculous amount of science and just made it super easy. In fact, the whole thing's on a little orange card. Orange, you got orange days and blue days. And we tell people, and what I find is people just want the results. They don't necessarily want to know all the science. So we just tell you exactly what to do, when to do it. And it slowly teaches you the new lifestyle. And once you learn the new lifestyle, you can do it forever. And then like Kimi and I, you kind of pick your favorite products and now you got your eating patterns down and you just get to feel good, look good, and like I said, it's incredible. And again, I'm not going to get into it, I don't want to make claims, but I believe the body's a miracle. When you feed the body the right ingredients, it can repair itself.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go into all of the other things, but I mean, I have people who've had headaches for years or different rash, all gone, right? Like just all gone. I said, look, your body, but that's what it also does. Totally. It really does it brings balance back into your entire body, right?
Yeah. And that's really important, especially if you are, not to make claims, but especially if you're a woman and you want to get ready to have a baby, you need to put your body
how many Yoli babies do we have?
So many Yoli.
So many people that want to get pregnant couldn't they get on Yoli and like, I'm having a baby.
Are you listening to that, mom and dad?
No, but seriously, I'm so happy you brought that up because there are so many hormonal issues, infertility issues, like women's health epidemic is crazy right now. And there's
very important.
I mean, I went through a phase where my periods were so painful and I was like, what the heck is going on? Like I take such great care of myself. And there's so many different, issues of like toxins that are in your body and things like that obviously your products really help. And, I really do have to say I'm super impressed. Like I can absolutely attest that absolutely things like those shakes taste really good. Yeah. And also with the Resolve or with the one that the fibers. Yeah. I really did. I was like, babe, I don't feel like I have a lot of times I would get these like cravings, especially at night and I would always create healthy options for desserts. But like, I'm like, I don't even have a desire anymore, which I've like never felt before, which is really pretty cool. So, I really, you guys named off so many incredible products that actually really do is like fundamentally help your body get back to a baseline so it can start healing itself. And I can't thank you guys enough for giving our listeners such a special offer of like to get all of that is usually over $300 for only $150. I think that's a true testament of like we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're literally like really get to showcase that. And anyone listening, if you guys have any questions for us, please just ask us again. Just go to yoli.com/RR. DM us, ask us questions on Instagram at relationship.renegades. You can ask us about our experience with the products and any questions you might have, as well as like, I think so much of what you guys saying, you guys have millions probably of results and stories and things like that we can't even talk about on the show because just too much time. Yeah. But, I think like you said, the results speak for themselves and that you guys have such support and a community factor that if anybody's going through something and wants more help and emotional support, that they have a place that they can go to, in the Facebook pages and to get that support. So I think that's just can't thank you enough for that.
And I'm so glad to continue to hear and learn, not only from you guys personally, but also with the products, right? Obviously, our audience knows that we are going to choose, grass-fed stuff, grass-finished things, and wild and pasture-raised, and all these things that are important. And I'm good. It's good to know about the stevia and the non-GMO, and that you guys care about that's infused in these products and that come from these products. There are certainly things that I learned today about that as we're continuing to learn and test these products, because our audience knows that we're constantly testing different things that work best for us so that we can share. And that our audience trusts us in that manner. Yeah. And as digital nomads, it's important because these things are travel ready. Yes. And we're getting ready for it's incredible. And we're getting ready for our wedding in a couple weeks. So, I'm sure our audience, if you guys aren't following us and you guys want to see behind the scenes of us testing this and going forward with everything else going on leading up to the wedding, check us out. Yes. But
I just want to say that we loved this so much that we even were like, okay, let's bring this to the people at our wedding too. So even
we're really bringing some things to
we only share things that we love, use, and believe in. And I know my mom will be super happy listening because she's a nutritionist and hearing about the alkalite of how much like like you were saying. And I love that you brought up not just the blood level pH, because I think that's where a lot of people get really confused.
They get confused.
Even my own father is a doctor. He was like, I don't know why these people talk about like, pH levels, because your food goes through your body and then your stomach makes it acidic right away, or, that kind of thing. And so I love that you talked about, what was the word you used?
Interstitial.
pH.
So that's right. So you've got your, you got your skin, right? You've got all these things outside of the blood that also have a pH. The entire body has a pH, and so that can get out of whack.
Yeah. So awesome. Awesome.
Well, thank you again for everything you guys have gone through. Just the people that you're being right now, and the constant, watering the grass, right? Where, it's not greener where on the other side is greener where you water it. And just in your business, as a relationship, Renegades yourself. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for educating our audience about Yoli, where it's at right now. The great affiliate model that you guys have, but also the differences between the company and other companies that are out there. And also just constantly evolving to make sure that it's best for the customers, it's best for affiliates, it's best for the body, just always making sure that you guys are doing the things to make things better and better and better. Yeah. And so we're certainly, excited about all that. Thank you again. And also, as Rachel usually always says, is there anything else that maybe you haven't shared, that maybe one last thing you'd like to share with our audience? Could be anything. Maybe one last
one final piece of advice. If someone's out there and is really struggling and they're like, man, like I just feel stuck right now. I don't know how to get out of this challenge, and just need some inspiration. What advice would you give them?
So here's what I want everybody to hear. I want them to know, and I'm going to first start off with what we put in our mouth. Every single thing that you put in your mouth is medicine. That medicine is either helping you or it's hurting you. Okay, I'll reiterate that. Everything you put in your mouth is medicine. It's either helping you or it's hurting you, right? Like if you take a couple alkali capsules, you're going to alkalize the body, and all these amazing, incredible things are going to happen. If you eat a donut, every day, the glycemic levels are going to go through the roof. I mean, all kinds of bad things are going to happen. So everything you put in your mouth. So what I'm getting at is that's how your entire body works. It's true for what we watch. So what I'm allowing my eyes to see, and allowing my eyes to watch, what I'm allowing my ears to hear, right? All of that is going to affect you. So I can tell you, if you're listening right now and you're not happy with where you're at, you're frustrated, pay attention back to what Emilio touched on multiple times. Guard that mind. Go find the people that are living in the world that you want to live in. Like if you see people, like it's really simple. If you want to be more happier and you see happy people, hang out with those people. That's a good people to hang out with, 100%. Right? Yeah, and by the way, and get away from the people that are, if you're like, man, I'm depressed. Well, ask yourself, who am I hanging around? If you hang around depressed people, you're going to be depressed, right? So, I mean, that's so critical. That's so important. And so that would be my last bit, is pay attention to all of those things. And back to kind of what we're offering here again, I want to make it really clear with your listeners. If you want that gift of life, you have to remember the /RR. It won't be available anywhere else. Yes. So you do have to go to yoli.com/RR. We're doing this specifically for you and your audience, and it will expire on July 1st. It's not forever. So we are taking a hit, but that's how important it is. And then the other thing I want you to know is then we have found that if you want to have success in Yoli, but then maintain the success, the people who tie in, and Rachel, you touched on this, but the people that tie into our community, the people that we do a welcome call at the end of every month for all our new customers, tie into that. We bring our doctors on, and you guys already know this. When you get your transformation kit, you open it up, there's a QR code on there. Take your phone and you scan the QR code, and we have our doctors who are going to walk you through daily an entire 28-day. Not long videos. They're like 2 to 3 minutes every day, but they're going to walk you through because, Rachel, you said it over and over again. It's so true. Education, right? We want to teach you. You want to learn. Once you learn it, you're like, oh, that's why. Oh, that makes me feel so good, right? So I want to make sure everyone knows that transformation kit, it comes with an entire system that's going to teach them about what to put in their mouth.
Wow, I love that. I love that so much.
So
Thank you.
I think, at the end of the day, Kimi and I just want everybody to live a happier life, a more fulfilled life, right? Mind, body, and soul. Is there anything you want to say?
No, just the whole time I'm just thinking, you get one life, live it to your best abilities, and be healthy and be happy and
be fulfilled, right?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's relationship renegade. We want our audience to co-create the love and lifestyle they've always wanted, and we want people to be fully alive in their relationships. And it does matter of who you're hanging around with, and the food you're eating allows you to show. If I'm doing that and I have those good ingredients in my body, then I'm going to show up better for Rachel. I'm going to show up better for my relationships. And so I think you hit it on the nail with that. Thank you again.
So don't forget, you guys, yoli.com/RR.
That's big.
And again, not just only incredible products that you can, again, if you have any questions about, you can learn more about, but also I love that you said with that QR code that leads them to a 28-day system where they get so much education along with that from your doctors. Like, that is just really, really incredible.
Awesome.
I so appreciate that. I think education is just key. And so, just thank you guys so much for being relationship renegades out there.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you. Congratulations on your wedding.
Woo!
Thank you.
Have an amazing wedding.
Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone listening. Again, you've been listening to Relationship Renegades on Fun for Life Radio. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you on this side.